guys, and welcome back to another video. So ever since I recorded this video right here, where I shared about my favorite must-grow cut flowers, you guys have asked me to do a follow-up video where I share my favorite flowers to grow as fillers. And since the garden is in full bloom, I thought now would be a great time to share some of my favorite fillers that we're growing this season. But before we head out into the garden, let's first talk about what makes a great filler. You know, I think most people often mistake filler for greenery, and while greenery can certainly be a filler within your arrangements, I want to encourage you to think outside the box. In just a few moments, I'm going to share some filler flowers with you that I'm growing this season, and some of them might not strike you as traditional filler flowers, being that they're quite colorful. For me, I really like to think of filler as adding texture and variety, you know, through different shapes and sizes. Filler really is whatever you grow that can fill the spaces between your larger, more prominent focal flowers within your bouquets. That's why you'll see that while some of the plants I'm going to share with you today, yes, some of them are green, they're more of your traditional foliage, but plenty of the fillers I'm going to share, they have some color to them as well. So if you're ready, let's go. So I wanted to start by sharing with you this bucket of flowers that I picked earlier this evening. These are actually some of the ingredients I will use to construct some subscription bouquets that we'll deliver tomorrow to our customers. Now originally I was going to build this into a nice bouquet rather than have them sitting here, you know, haphazardly. But I think even in like this, these flowers really seem to illustrate the point that I'm trying to make here. Filler isn't just about taking up space in a bouquet. You know, filler is those small elements of the bouquet that really tie everything together. You know, by having some variation in texture and size and color, that's when you can create something that has some real visual interest and can really make an impact. So let me share with you a few of my favorite fillers that we're growing in our cut flower field this year. The first one is Celosia. I know I've talked about Celosia before in previous videos, but I really love the texture that this flower adds to your arrangements. It comes in an amazing range of colors, which means that no matter your color palette, whether you're building something with soft and subtle hues, or you're trying for something a bit more bold, either way, you're sure to find something to suit your needs. While I always strip the leaves off of my stems, I will occasionally leave a few of the tippy-tap leaves on my Celosia stems on when I'm arranging with them. I just love how they take up space and they add that pop of color. The other great thing that I love about Celosia is how it just cranks all summer long. I'm all about growing flowers that produce abundantly because it helps reduce the workload on my end. You know, I'm not always having to flip flower beds and plant even more seedlings. And that's just one more reason why I love Celosia so much. Now, if you're like me and you just love texture, well then you're going to love this next filler. Because honestly, I couldn't do a video like this and not mention straw flower. Now, I didn't have the best luck with growing straw flower last season, and I'm not sure why, but I gave it another go this year and it grew beautifully in my garden. And I just fell in love with, again, the fun texture that this flower brings to my bouquets. I mean, it looks and it sounds like crinkle paper, and it really helps break up a bouquet when you're able to layer straw flower with a finer texture like dahlias or zinnias even. I already plan on growing even more of this filler next year because even now my customers love it so much that they request it by name. Okay, next I'm going to lump 3 different flowers together in this next part, and you'll see why in just a minute. But Agitarum, Yarrow, and Sweet William are all favorite fillers of mine for really the exact same reason. On their own, they are very sort of unassuming. By themselves, they're not the fanciest of flowers, but they work so well as a supporting element in a larger mix of flowers. Agitarum is sort of this tuft of light blue that I like to layer in the bottom of some of my bouquets, and it really helps to fill out the bouquet. Yarrow, it works the same way. Now, I fall planted the summer berry blend from Johnny Seeds last fall, and it has cranked out a truly amazing number of stems for me this season. I just love the pastel shades that comes in this mix. It's just a simple way to add a pop of color whenever you need it. Sweet William is slightly different in that its flower head is a little bit more rounded and not as flat as Agitarum or Yarrow. But again, I like to add it sort of underneath some focal flowers, and it's a great way to add to an arrangement without making the arrangement, you know, too busy, because it just sort of falls into the background. I believe this was the Amazon Neon Rose series. Like the Yarrow, I did fall plant this crop last year, and it has provided me with a bumper crop of flowers all season long. I do love as well that Sweet William has a light scent to it. It's not overpowering, and sometimes you really have to put your nose close to it to smell it. But I love how it's just a subtle hint of fragrance. It's really an enjoyable element that I love adding to my bouquets. Now, for those of you who want to grow more traditional foliage or greenery, I can't get enough of basil. Basil is easy enough to grow that I always throw a row of it somewhere in my garden, even if I know that I'm not going to harvest it all. I mean, with its great scent, it's awesome just to have around. It's another one of those plants that produces abundantly, so I tend to have it all season long. Here at Two Sisters, we grow the cinnamon basil variety. The leaves are the perfect shade of green to really elevate arrangements, but still give them that sort of wildflower feel. We're also growing a basil pesto this year. It has some variegated leaves that are just fun and different, and we're really enjoying that variety as well this year. Now, this filler video wouldn't be complete if I didn't mention Snapdragons. Snapdragons have really won me over the past few years. You know, for a lot of people, they're sort of a nostalgic flower, and I think it's great that so many people have such a strong emotional attachment to Snapdragons. At our U-Pick events, a lot of the older women tell me how when they were younger, they remember squeezing the florets of the flowers and making them into a kind of puppet. And anytime a flower can evoke emotion like that, well, I think it's pretty special. I really appreciate the difference in shape that Snapdragons bring to my bouquets. While all flowers are beautiful, it can feel repetitive if all you have in your arrangement, you know, are round flowers. And so I always like to add a couple of Snapdragons to just break things up. This year we planted an entire 120-foot row of Snapdragons, and we planted all the varieties, you know, from the Rocket series to the Madam Butterflies, and honestly, I can't pick a favorite. They are all great additions to your garden, and so I encourage you to grow whichever varieties speak to you the most. Well, there you have it, a small peek into some of my favorite filler flowers that we're growing this season. I really hope that you give them a try, growing some of these amazing flowers in your own garden. And let me know in the comments below if there's a filler flower that you grow and love and that I didn't mention within this video. I'd love to get more ideas for our next growing season. Well, I think that about does it for me. Let me just say thank you so much for tuning in today. Before you go, if you could do me a favor and hit that like button, and also hit that subscribe button down below as well if you haven't already. Thanks so much again for hanging out with me today, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye guys.